Here's the new self-pitying curse fodder that Cubs fans are going with this morning and forwarding around to each other all day long. Follow this now. Even for Cubs fan, this is incredible. Follow this. They just got owned by Daniel Murphy. You know that. However, in 1984, they lost the NLCS at Jack Murphy Stadium. Just wait, there's more. In 1969, the Mets GM was Johnny Murphy. Johnny Murphy, 69. Jack Murphy, 84. Johnny Murphy, 69. And do you know the Mets announcer was Bob Murphy? Now it's getting weird. Now it's getting downright eerie. Right, I may have to stop right there, right? Daniel Murphy, Jack Murphy, Johnny Murphy, Bob Murphy. How about this? 1908, the last time they won a World Series? Do you know who the Cubs owner was? First name, Charles. Last name, wait for it, Murphy. Charles Murphy. You think that's insane? Now they're really gonna sink your battleship. The actual name of the OG Billy Goat that started this whole thing, you guessed it, freaking Murphy! Murphy the Goat! Murphy the Billy Goat! Murphy! Daniel Murphy! Jack Murphy! Johnny Murphy! Bob Murphy! Charles Murphy! Murphy the freaking Goat! All true. No wonder they got swept. Come on, are you kidding me with this? This is stupid even for a Cubs fan. How many petting zoo goats even have a name? Let alone one that is still remembered decades later. Let me guess. There was another goat in that same pen named DeGrom. DeGrom and Murphy were goat brothers. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS on that. What else you got for me? The Mets once lost on a walk-off home run by Dale Murphy. That's got to mean something, right? There was once a Mets game in the 80s attended by Eddie Murphy. Before he shot all of his free throws, did he mutter under his breath? Did Calvin Murphy mutter under his breath, "Go Mets"? The curse of the Murph. So I thought that I'd run out all the conspiracy theories about the Murphys. Whatever Murphy. If there's something you want to add to it, you go right ahead. You go right to it. Let's go to Southern California. First telephone call on this Thursday. Jeff in SoCal. Good to have you, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good today, Jim. How you doing today?
Super. It's all good.
Hey, man, I heard that opening, and I want to get in on this. I watched the Cubs game last night, Jim, and this is so weird. I went to a wedding this summer, and the guy who got married, guess what his last name was?
Murphy?
It was my buddy, Pat Murphy. It's the biggest conspiracy I've ever heard, man.
Dude, that's incredible.
So
Are you kidding?
strange.
You went to a wedding,
Yeah.
and your boy's name was Pat Murphy.
Yeah, and I watched the game last night.
And you
Jim.
watched the game.
Yeah, I watched all 9 innings.
And the Cubs lost because a guy named Daniel Murphy wrecked them.
I wish I didn't go to that wedding. I'm out.
Oh, man. Can I tell you something? Cubs fans wish you had not gone to that wedding. Man, that is eerie. That is eerie. The hairs on my arm are standing straight up. Did that guy just say what I thought that he said? That the Cubs lost because a guy named Daniel Murphy hit another bomb, and this summer he went to a wedding with a guy named Pat Murphy, and he watched the game last night. Wait, did that guy... We may have to run that back. I may need a review. Let me throw the review flag. He may have said Pat Murray. If he said Pat Murray, that would make some sense. If he said Pat Murphy, that would be way too weird. Alvin, if you get a second, I want to check the tape. It's got to be Murray. There's no way that guy went to a wedding this summer with somebody named Pat Murphy and then, in fact, watched the game himself last night and they lost because of a guy named Dan Murphy. That is weird. Really weird. Alvin, let me hear that one more time.
It's so weird. I went to a wedding this summer, and the guy who got married, guess what his last name was? It was my buddy, Pat Murphy.
Whoa.
It's the biggest conspiracy I've ever heard
he said
ever,
it.
man.
That's incredible. Are you kidding? Murphy! Starting to make sense now, Cubs fan. It really is. It's all starting to add up, and it's all starting to make sense. Now I can see why this happened. Let's go quickly to Calgary. Ian in Calgary. Ian, it's good to have you on the show. How are you? Go ahead, Ian. You are on the air. See, the thing is... Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Ian hang up? Because I didn't hang up on him. Maybe there's a Murphy connection to Ian. That was really strange. I mean, that never happens. Whenever I go to somebody on the phones, they're usually very excited to talk to me. They say things like, first time, long time, Rome. I usually agree, but not this time, whatever. But they're always there and they're ready to go. How weird that when we're talking about conspiracies and the Murphys and the Cubs, that I go to a guy and he's not there. Really weird. Really, really weird. I don't know. It's starting to creep me out. Hey, Lyle, come on in here for a minute. Now, listen, you, I think, would have some insight. You're a Chicago native.
Yeah, this is a little strange. I'm getting a little creeped out by this show because I have a quick story to tell you. I'm a Chicago native. Over the summer, I went to New York. I was in New York, and I stayed in a very small hotel room that they have in New York. You know, they're usually pretty small. It was so small, in fact, that it had one of those beds.
No.
That is a bookcase.
Don't say it. Lyle,
and you pull it out, and you know what it's called? It's called a Murphy bed.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get your ass out of here. I'm going to tell you why I'm freaking out on that. Now, you think I'm being funny. I will tell you why I'm freaking out on that. When I got my first big break in San Diego, I lived in an Oakwood apartment. You know, those corporate apartments in Pacific Beach. Small studio apartment. Lyle, I had a Murphy bed. I had a Murphy bed. What's one of the first things I talked about when I got to San Diego? Baseball. I slept in a Murphy bed. Very small studio apartment. I had a coffee pot. If I wanted to heat that apartment, I'd make coffee. That's how small that apartment was. I slept in a Murphy bed every single night. Wow, that's not cool. True story. I slept in a Murphy bed in Pacific Beach in the Oakwood apartments. Damn, this is crazy. And I ran down that thing pretty quickly. Daniel Murphy killed them. 84, they lost to the NLCS at Jack Murphy. 69, Mets GM Johnny Murphy. Mets announcer Bob Murphy. All the way down to 1908 when they last won a World Series. Their owner, Charles Murphy. And what's it traced back to? All the way back to that goat. That freaking goat. Did you know the goat had a name? What would you say if I told you the goat's name was Murphy? Like irrefutable evidence. It's not a conspiracy if it's true, right? The goat's name was Murphy. Fast forward ahead to 2015. Daniel Murphy killed them. And I thought that whole thing was eerie and creepy enough, yet there are other angles, other conspiracy theories that I did not know about. A caller said that he went to a wedding this past summer, and the guy's name was Patrick Murphy, and that same caller watched the game last night. All right, so now it's just getting weird. Kyle Brandt came in here and said he went to New York over the summer, slept in a Murphy bed, which jogged my memory when I first got to San Diego back in, believe it or not, 1990, the end of 1990, when I got my first huge radio break. I holed up in a studio apartment that had a Murphy bed. I didn't go to some hotel and sleep on a Murphy bed. I lived in an apartment with a Murphy bed. I slept on a Murphy bed every single night. And then I found out about Casper. I wish I had known about them then. Murphy bed, man. It's just weird. It is weird. I mean, that's it, right? There are no other connections. There are no other theories. There's nothing else, right? There can't be anything else. We've covered it. All right, it's a good phone call day. Let's go to the phones. We go to Omaha, Nebraska. Chuck in Omaha. Hey, Chuck, appreciate the phone call. How are you?
Good, Rome. How are you?
I'm great. What's on your mind?
You know, I watched the game last night at a bar here in Omaha, and the bar, it's actually called the Brew House. But after that check, my waitress said that Murphy is the name of her parents' dog.
No, Chuck. Chuck, that's not true. Chuck, are you there?
I swear.
Say that one more time. The name of who is what?
The name of her parents' dog is Murphy.
Let me get this straight. You went to a bar in Omaha and you watched the game, and the waitress's parents' dog is named Murphy. Is that what you said?
That's what she said. I don't know if she was making it up, but she seemed pretty confident.
Chuck, that's absolutely incredible. This is freaking me out. You know, I started this whole thing off by thinking that I would kind of take a little run at the Cubs fans. Thanks, Chuck, I think. And I thought that I'd call the Cubs fans out, take a little run at them and say, enough's enough, man. Come on. Get off it with your stupid and lame conspiracy theories. Yet they just keep coming. I mean, never mind where there's smoke, there's fire. Did you hear what that guy just said? I got to process this. Let me just walk through this one more time. That's somebody, not at Wrigley, not in the confines. That's a guy in Nebraska at a bar watching that game, talking to a waitress who brought him a beer, and just so happened to find out that the waitress's parents had a dog named Murphy. I don't know what's more amazing, that or that they somehow got to the topic of the waitress's parents' dog's name. But maybe that's all part of the conspiracy theory, right? Maybe that's all part of it. God, man, that is astonishing. I can't believe it. Maybe it's me. Maybe I owe the Cubs fans an apology. Maybe I'm the one who didn't get it. There's just too many weird connections, too many weird theories to it. Like, I'd love to move on. What I really want to talk about is Tom Brady and how much longer he's going to play, but I can't get off this topic because there's so many other conspiracy theories that I didn't know existed. Strange. It's getting a little creepy up in here, but I'll carry on. I'll do my thing. Let's go to Clearwater, Florida. Have not had a phone call from Clearwater in quite some time, so what the hell? Let's go there and see what's going on. We go to Mike, who's in Clearwater. Mike, it is great to have you in the jungle. How are you, Mike? What's up?
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
A little weird, but good.
Yeah, it is a little weird, isn't it? Last night, funniest thing happened. I'm watching the game. My wife and I, we got these new coffee table and end tables and this beautiful wood finish. And she told me, she goes, "Could you clean those up while you're watching the game instead of just sitting around the whole time?" And then I broke out the Murphy's oil soap.
No, Mike. No way. No way he just said that. No freaking way he just said that. Oh, man. You have a guy in Florida watching the Cubs last night, and they just happened to get a pair of new end tables, and the wife said, "Are you going to sit there all night long on your ass, doing nothing, watching that game, or are you going to clean these tables up?" and he reached for the Murphy oil soap. Murphy oil soap. At this point, I don't know how much longer. Lyle, are you coming in for any reason? You better not be coming in with anything like that. Did you hear what that guy just said?
Yeah.
Murphy oil soap.
I'm actually a little bit nervous right now. Like, this is like when you get the Ouija board out when you're kids and it starts working a little too well, and you're like, just put it away. This is scary. This is not fun
Like
anymore.
Grandma's talking to us. We found Grandma.
Yesterday...
Don't you bring anything else in here.
I'm trying to exercise the demons. Yesterday when I got home from work, I usually have a little window when I hang out with Calvin, watch some TV. I flipped on cable, and the movie The Departed was on. With,
you watch that movie like every single day. What do you mean?
I love it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon. It's a great movie. But the strangest thing is that the song in that, the theme of that, it's a song called Shipping Up to Boston, and it's by a band called the Dropkick Murphys. It's true, man. I'm not making that up. I watched it yesterday.
Get out. Go.
I'm out of here. I gotta go home, actually.
Beat it, man. Beat it. God. What the hell's going on here? All right? Normally I don't weird out on things, but this is starting to weird me out a little bit. Dropkick Murphys are part of that soundtrack. It's a good band now. How weird. This whole thing is getting extremely weird and disturbing. Hey, Lyle, in the event that I can't finish this show, you're ready to go, right? You're good like that. You're not ready? Because if you can't do it, Austin's got to do it. Or better yet, Alvy will do it.
Dude.
Rome. It's an email. Rome. I may be putting myself in grave danger by writing this, but did you know that Daniel Murphy is an anagram for the phrase hand impurely? And did you know that former major leaguer Moises Alou was infamously known for relieving himself all over his hands? The same Moises Alou that missed the Bartman foul ball in 2003. Hand impurely. That's no coincidence, Rome. Don't be a sheep. That's Joaquin. The Joaquin sent that. MMA Joaquin sent that. All right, let's think about that one more time. Daniel Murphy, an anagram for the phrase hand impurely. Moises Alou, that's true. He was known for relieving himself on his hands. He did do that. And Moises Alou was the same guy that missed the Bartman foul ball, that turned and gestured angrily and frantically at Bartman, which ran him under the bus, and Bartman's never had his life since then. That's true. That's all true. And he says, don't be a sheep. Hey, I'm not a sheep. Joaquin, I may be a believer. This is absolutely amazing to me. Absolutely incredible. I got to wrap this segment somehow. Let's go to the phones. We go to Venice. Bill in Venice. I've got to somehow get control of myself and the show and get it back. Let's go to Venice and Bill. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Oh, fine, Jim. I appreciate it. I'm pretty well versed in this conspiracy stuff. It is a little creepy because in 8th grade, I listened to the whole game last night. And then I remembered in 8th grade, I went to a school with a fella, and his last name was Murray. And that begins with an M and ends in a Y. And I'm like, that almost sounds like Murphy.
Bill, you gotta be kidding. Are you kidding me? You listened to the entire game last night, and that had you flashing back to 8th grade, and there was a kid in your class named Murray, which starts with an M like Murphy, and Murray sounds exactly like Murphy. But it's not Murphy, it's Murray. But they both start with an M. All right, if that doesn't tie it all together, I don't know what does. That's the most dangerous one of all. So I'm going to end that thing right there. Just stop. I've had enough. All right? I am now a believer. When a guy calls this show and says to me that he listened, not watched, but listened to the entire game last night, and then he thought back to, I was in 8th grade, and there was a kid that I once knew whose name was Murray, which starts with an M, Murray. And Murray sounds like Murphy. I've had enough. You know what? There is a curse. The Murphy curse. Cubs fans, I apologize. I take it all back. It's bigger than you. It's not your fault. I'm with you. I agree with you. You're right. Wow, man, I am tripping.